Warning: if you drive in the United Kingdom, you need to stop what you are doing right now and pay attention to what I am about to tell you. The DVLA has just confirmed a major change to driving license rules, and millions of drivers across the country are either completely unaware of it or have already made mistakes that could cost them hundreds of pounds, or worse, their license entirely. This is not a drill. This is not clickbait. This is a genuine update that affects ordinary, everyday drivers, people who have done nothing wrong, people who simply did not know the rules had changed. And if you are one of those people, today is your lucky day, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly what you need to do, and you will know it before it is too late. Stay with me, because everything I am about to share with you matters. Let us start with the big picture. The DVLA, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency, is the body responsible for maintaining records of drivers and vehicles across Great Britain. Every single person who holds a driving license in this country is on their system, and when the DVLA makes a change, it does not send every driver a personal letter. It does not knock on your door. It updates its rules, publishes guidance that most people never read, and expects you to comply. That is the world we live in. So when a major license rule change comes into effect, the responsibility falls entirely on you. Ignorance is not accepted as a valid excuse, not by the DVLA, not by the courts, not by the police officers who can pull you over and check your details on the spot. So what exactly has changed? Let us go through it thoroughly, because this affects multiple categories of drivers, and the details are critical. The first area of change relates to medical condition reporting and license renewals. For years, drivers in certain age groups and those with specific health conditions have had obligations to inform the DVLA of anything that might affect their ability to drive safely. But the thresholds, the specific conditions that trigger mandatory reporting, and the timelines involved have now been updated. What this means in plain English is that conditions which previously did not require you to notify the DVLA may now require reporting, and conditions that were on a 3-year renewal cycle, in some cases, now fall under stricter review periods. This is particularly significant for drivers aged 70 and over, who must renew their license every 3 years. But it also affects younger drivers who have been diagnosed with conditions such as epilepsy, diabetes managed with insulin, sleep apnea, or certain heart conditions. The list of notifiable medical conditions has been extended. If you have been diagnosed with something new in the last 12 to 18 months and have not informed the DVLA, you may already be driving illegally without knowing it. And here is the part that shocks most people. If you are involved in an accident and it is later discovered that you failed to report a notifiable medical condition, your insurance could be invalidated. That means no payout. That means you could be personally liable for any damage, any injury, any costs that arise from that accident. The financial consequences alone could be life-changing. But on top of that, you could face prosecution, penalty points, and even a driving ban. The second major area of the rule change affects address records. This one catches more drivers out than almost anything else. The DVLA requires that the address on your driving license matches your current home address. Always, without exception. If you have moved house and not updated your license, you are already breaking the law. The fine for failing to update your address is up to £1,000, not a few pounds. Not a fixed penalty notice for £60 or £100, up to £1,000. Now, think about how many people in this country move home every year. Millions. Think about how many of those people remember to update their car insurance, their bank accounts, their Netflix subscriptions, but forget to update their driving license. A lot of people. And this rule has always existed, but enforcement has tightened. The DVLA cross-references address data more aggressively than it ever has before, using data from other government departments, local authorities, and financial institutions to flag discrepancies. If your address on your license does not match the address the government has for you elsewhere, you may receive a notice, or you may simply find yourself in trouble at the worst possible moment. Updating your address is free. It takes about 5 minutes on the DVLA website. There is absolutely no reason not to do it today if you have not already. The third element of this rule change involves photocard licenses and the 10-year renewal requirement. Your photocard driving license needs to be renewed every 10 years to keep your photograph up to date. This is separate from any medical renewal requirements. Many drivers do not realize that their photocard can expire even though their entitlement to drive remains valid. In other words, your right to drive does not expire, but the physical card does, and driving with an expired photocard is an offense. The renewed focus from the DVLA on this is catching people who got their license renewed a decade ago, perhaps when they were in their 20s or 30s, and have simply never thought about it since. If your photocard license was last renewed over 10 years ago, you need to check it right now. Look at the front of your card. There is a section marked with the number 4, and subsection 4B shows your license expiry date. If that date has already passed, or is approaching within the next few months, you need to act immediately. The fine for driving with an expired photocard license can reach £1,000. And again, there can be insurance implications if your documentation is not in order. The fourth change concerns provisional license holders and the rules surrounding supervised driving. There has been an update to the requirements around what constitutes legal supervision for a learner driver. The person accompanying a learner must hold a full driving license and must have held it for a minimum of 3 years. They must also be at least 21 years of age. These rules are not new, but the DVLA has clarified enforcement guidance and made it explicit that the supervising driver must be fit and able to take control of the vehicle if necessary. This means that a supervising driver, who is, for example, significantly over the drink-drive limit, or who has a medical episode that affects their ability to supervise, can result in the learner driver being treated as though they were driving unsupervised, which is a much more serious offense. If you are a parent or family member who supervises a learner, or if you are a learner driver yourself, make sure you understand who is and is not legally qualified to sit beside you in that passenger seat. The fifth, and perhaps most wide-reaching aspect of this update, relates to the points threshold and what happens when you accumulate endorsements on your license. The framework around totting up, where drivers who accumulate 12 or more penalty points within a 3-year period face a mandatory disqualification of at least 6 months, has been reinforced with clearer guidance. But here is what is new. The DVLA and courts are now applying a stricter approach to new drivers within their first 2 years of passing their test. If a new driver accumulates 6 or more penalty points in that 2-year period, their license is revoked, and they must reapply for a provisional license and pass both the theory and practical tests again. This is not just an inconvenience, it is a full restart. And with the current waiting times for driving tests running into many months in various parts of the country, this can effectively mean a driver is off the road for a very long time. Many new drivers pick up points for mobile phone use, minor speeding offences, or not wearing a seatbelt, without fully understanding how quickly those points add up under the new driver rules, which operate to a lower threshold than the standard 12 points that apply to experienced drivers. If you passed your test less than 2 years ago, you are operating under different rules. You need to know this. Now, let us talk about what you should do right now, today, in the next hour, if possible. First, go to the DVLA website and check your license details. You can use the View Your Driving License Information service to see what is recorded on your license, including your points, your address, and your license expiry date. If anything is wrong or out of date, start the correction process immediately. Second, if you have moved in the last year and have not updated your address on your license, do it now. As mentioned, it is free and takes minutes. Third, if you have any medical condition that has changed or worsened recently, or if you have been newly diagnosed with anything, check the DVLA list of notifiable medical conditions. If your condition appears on that list, you have a legal obligation to inform the DVLA. Do not put it off. Fourth, if your photocard license is approaching its expiry date, renew it. You can do this online through the DVLA website, and it costs £21. Do not wait until the card has already expired. Fifth, if you are a new driver, still within your first 2 years, treat your license like it is made of glass, because in regulatory terms, it is. Be meticulous. Be cautious. Do not take risks that could result in points, because the consequences for you are far more severe than they would be for an experienced driver. The DVLA is not doing this to catch people out for no reason. Road safety genuinely matters, but the system is built on the assumption that you are keeping yourself informed and compliant. The changes we have discussed today are exactly the kind of thing that slips past people who are simply getting on with their lives, and the penalties when they do slip past can be devastating. You now know what has changed. You now know what the risks are. You now know what to do. All that is left is for you to act on it. Do not be the driver who finds out about this the hard way, on the side of the road, in front of a police officer, or worse, in the aftermath of an accident when it is discovered that your paperwork was not in order. Take 10 minutes today and make sure everything on your license is exactly as it should be. That is what being a responsible driver actually looks like. Not just being good behind the wheel, but making sure that the legal foundation of your right to drive is solid, up to date, and beyond question. If this video has helped you, or if you think someone you know needs to hear this, please share it with them right now. This is the kind of information that genuinely makes a difference, and passing it on could save someone from a very expensive and stressful situation. And if you want to stay ahead of every fine, rule change, and DVLA update that affects UK drivers, make sure you subscribe to UK Fines Alerts. We cover everything you need to know to keep your license, protect your wallet, and stay on the right side of the law. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We will see you in the next one.